Hello guys, and welcome back to the Yogscast Complete Pack. This is Onion Man and Grease with the ShadowzsOnion channel. And when we last let off, when we last had an episode, we took a look at Tinker's Constructs, we took a look at the tanks, as well as the enchanting table. Unfortunately, wonderful things that they are, a creeper came and exploded my tank, so I lost about, 50 or 60 levels of XP with that. So be careful with those tanks. They can get destroyed. And we were debating which type of wood to use for building the house. Well, I eventually decided to settle on these four. I decided to stick with the vanilla birch wood planks and the vanilla jungle wood planks, because with the chisel mod, we get a bunch of extra textures on them. And I decided to use the bamboo and the amaranth, which is something I found after I last recorded, for accents. And here we are. Now it's not finished. It's not in any way finished. Still has quite a bit of work to be done. Let's go ahead and sign to sleep. Let you see the inside. I know there's dirt on the ceiling right now. That's because I do not like building roofs in Minecraft, and we're going to turn this roof into a garden. Don't worry though, the dirt will not be visible. By the next time you see this is all going to be covered, thanks to this little wonderful thing, but we'll get into that next episode. I'm going to go ahead and sleep real fast. But there is a point to what we're doing today, since we're not working on the house. I know I promised Bibliocraft next time, but we'll do that the time after this one. Because I've run into a problem, a very serious problem. These chests have gotten out of hand. Look at them. They're just a mess. I don't know what's in any of these. I have no idea. I really honestly don't. And anytime I need something, it's gotten to the point where I need to pull up NEI and say I need something like a sapling for some birch trees. I'm having to highlight them by double-clicking on the search bar and just having to go through the chest like that because it grays out everything but what you're looking for. Look, that's the only way I'd be able to find these. It's gone too much. These things are danger chests. Serious danger. So today we're going to get a chest system sorted out. And we're going to do that using a fantastic mod called Project Red. Now, if you may remember, if you've ever used Red Power 2, especially on Tekkit or Technic, there was a very nice sorting system associated with it that required power. That system's gone. That was Red Power. This is Project Red. This is somebody else's redoing of that exact same mod. So what we have instead are these transport pipes from Project Red Transportation. And we've gone ahead and got ourselves started with these things downstairs. The system's in no way finished. Just wanted to give you a very broad idea of how it worked. Here we go. So this is the downstairs. This is going to turn into our workshops. That room's still under construction. This is rooms devoted to one of the first things we're going to be starting with in terms of mod work. But here is our storage room. Now you're probably wondering, how does this thing work? It works like a dream is how it works. Let me just show you this. I'll show you how to do this, but let me show you what it does. This is the request pipe. These are all the things that I currently have in a chest that's set up correctly, because there's quite a bit of setup to this. Now say I need something, like going back to our saplings, I need jungle saplings. I need 2 of them. So I click on it, change this number to 2, submit. Now it's going to pull those 2 jungle saplings out of whatever chest they're in, doesn't matter which chest, and it's going to come back to my hand. Just straight to me. It's so easy. And when I don't need any more, I send it back. And it takes a little bit, and there it goes. Now say we have multiple pages worth of this, because you see page 1 out of 1, and I pretend on the big system. Say I need something very specific, like flint. I can search for it and pull it out just the exact same way. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Ooh. Okay, how do I get out of this? Oh, that's right. No? Stop it. There you go. You have to have the search box not ready to type things in order for you to actually work with this. So, how do you actually make this stuff? Well, back when I made this, last time I made it was on Attack of the B Team, and it was much less expensive. So your most basic thing you need are these item transport pipes, which are these normal pipes that you see that are just sort of wiring everything together. Easy to make. Pull up the recipe. There we go. 2 pieces of stone and a glass pane. Now, unfortunately, there is an item from Buildcraft transport pipes, the stone transport pipe, that has the exact same recipe as this. So, unfortunately, what I had to do is, in order to get this material, because I didn't realize until after the point when I had made 2 stacks of the stone transport pipes, I had to switch over to creative mode and throw out the stone transport pipes and switch them. Yes, I'm sorry, I was trying to keep this very vanilla, very uncheaty if I could. Haven't been teleporting, haven't been changing time. Last night I needed some skeleton bones. I waited, I didn't change it tonight. But I do have the cheats enabled for situations like this when a recipe is bugged, because it's a bugged recipe. 2 things have the same one, and it prefers to give you the Buildcraft pipes rather than this pipe. So that's a problem. So this is what you use as your basic movement from any one spot to any other spot. The next big pipe you need are these routed junction pipes. They are the basis of all the other cool pipes. You basically need, in order for a working system, these routed junction pipes, these interface pipes, as well as these request pipes. You can use the crafting pipe if you want to, and the extension pipe the extension pipe is mainly for if you want to, say, take one of these pipes, I don't know, 120 blocks that way. Just like a redstone repeater, you will eventually need to extend it. These crafting pipes are just basically crafting benches on the end of the pipe. I prefer just to request it and then put it into one of these crafting stations, as I like the stations more, because they hold multiple items, and then I can have multiple stations set up and I don't need to keep shift clicking things out of the pipe. That's basically what they do, and I'll show you what these other ones do. So the first thing you need to make are these routed junction pipes. Dear God, look at that, 16 of these, 2 diamonds. Now luckily, as you might have seen in the previous video, I had about 30 diamonds just sort of laying around, so I was able to make a stack of these routed junction pipes. There's the remains of them so far, 50. Those are going to last us a very long time. Luckily, you don't need to spend too much on them. What these do is anytime you have 2 pipes meeting up at one spot, so any junction, you need to put these pipes down. Otherwise, say this wasn't here and I were to pull an item. Let's just show and tell. So now, if I try to pull out an item, such as the jungle saplings, well, let's just get a stack of cobble. We'll pull out a stack of cobble. See, look at that. It doesn't know where to go. It's just flying all over the place. Eventually it'll get where it needs to go, but it's going to go every other way first. So you need these junction pipes in here, just basically to keep the system working. Look, this thing can just go back and forth forever. When eventually will hit a junction pipe, it'll redirect it the way it wants to go. But in the meanwhile, you need these. If you also notice, these little green particles were red when I put this pipe down. The system is very nice. It gives you an indication of when you need to change things. So see right here, nothing's meeting up. When I take and break and place, these 2 ends work. This one doesn't. Now, does it want one here? I think it wants one here. Yeah, it does. And the reason this is red is because it's not connecting to anything. There's nothing on the end of it. So what else does this do? So the next pipe you really need is these interface pipes. What these interface pipes do is these allow your system to hook up to chests. And they don't do anything else. They just allow you to hook to chests. So then you're asking, well, some of these chests are pulling items, and some of these chests, like this one as I showed you, are putting items into the system. So how do you make that work? With these chips. By the way, here's the recipes. Once you get past the junction pipe, they're not too bad. Just some gold nuggets and some redstone. Easy peasy. Takes some diamond in order to make these routed request pipes, but you know, if you have standard base, maybe you only need 1 or 2 of these, That's 15-20 minutes of mining if you really want to. It's not hard. It's not bad. And for the amount of power this thing gives you, it's very cheap. The other big alternative to storage in this game is the computers from Applied Energistics, isn't it? Computers. Somewhere in here. Maybe it's ME. Is that what I need to look at? I'm trying to bring up one of the chips just as an example. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, Applied Energistics. Let's just try it like that. Applied Energistics. Here we go. Now these things are on their own very expensive to make. Let's just look at the drive. You know, your redstone chip stack, you need a bunch of silicon, you need Flux dust in order to make, let's see here, where's the controller? Look at this recipe. This advanced processor. Oh, dear God, it gives you a headache. Just gives you a headache looking at it. And then not only do you need to make it, but you need to power it. And powering big Applied Energistic machines takes a while. It takes much longer than making something like this. We will probably eventually, at some point in time, switch to the Applied Energistic system. It takes up much less space, but for now, when we only need maybe, what, roughly 50, 100 chests, we don't have too many resources at the moment, and we're about to get into some serious crafting. We don't need much. So this system works out beautifully for us. So, what do these chips do? I need space. We're just going to get rid of some junk here. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep... Oh, geez. I kind of want all this. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Alright. So, now we go back to Project Red. Oh, wait. It's one word. Come back over here. We get our chips. Now, there are many chips you can make. All of these, we only really need 3. These item broadcaster chips, these item extractor chips, and these item responder chips. So how do these work? Well, let's pull out the 3 basic types. I already have a broadcaster. I already have one of these extractors. Alright, now these things are a little bit strange. I don't think the texture quite meets up with the hitbox on these, so when you try to put them in your inventory, you have to pretty much get it dead on in the center. Usually. So what do these 3 chips do? Well, the first thing that they do, we'll talk about the most easy one, the extractor chip. If you were to put one of these extractor chips, we have one of them in here, in an interface pipe connected to a chest, this says to the system, pull everything out of this chest and put it somewhere else. So that's what this extractor chip is doing for us. Anything we put in here is going to get pulled out, go into the system. Let's get rid of these bottles. Now it's a little bit slow, and we're going to get to that in a minute. There we go. Eventually it takes off, and now it's in somewhere else. I'm going to guess this first chest, because it likes to fill up the easiest things. Oh, nope, second. There we go. Alright, next chip. These are the chips that need to go in any chest you really want to hook up to your system, to want to use as storage. You need both of these, the item broadcaster chip and the item responder chip. So what do these do? Well, if you put them in, the item broadcaster chip basically broadcasts what items this chest has to the system. So, here are all these things that they have. If I come over here to my request pipe and I want to get something out, absolutely nothing that's in that chest is going to be broadcasted. These are all things that are in another chest. Nothing in here is going to be shown. Now, the instant I put in one of these broadcaster chips, the system will begin to see that it's all there. Ta-da! So we went from about a stack of cobblestone to 972. However, and this is a big however, this chest is currently just showing its items. If I were to try to request something that's in this chest, so let's request the diamond saw. So where's our diamond saw sitting at? Just a bit. No. They changed it. Really? You're kidding me. I wasted all that time on these responders and I didn't need it? Ooh. That changes things a lot. Now, when I first learned this system, back when the system was brand new, you had to have on any of these chests the broadcaster chip as well as the responder chip. And if you did not have both of those two things, a chest would simply show that there's items in it. So clearly, I need to go back. And if you were to request something without this responder chip in it, the system would not send the item. So I could request diamond saws, all I wanted out of this chest without that chip in it, and would never give it to me. Really? Really? Oh, this is a whole nother ball game. Ah. And look at all these stupid responder chips I made then. I don't have anywhere else to put these. Now, something you need to bear in mind when using these. When you first make these chips, by the way, here's how to make the chips. Oh, we don't need those. Let's look at this extractor. It's not bad. These routing chips themselves are pretty cheap to make, just some paper, redstone, and nuggets. Nuggets are a big thing in this pipe system. You'll need to have plenty of gold. It's pretty cheap. The really only hard part of them is getting this Elumar. So it requires glowstone, which isn't too bad. The nether is not that hard if you know what you're doing in these modded packs, and I'll show you how to survive the nether at some point in this. But with Natura hanging around, and those God be damned heat scar spiders. The really hard part are these dyes. And it's not that there's a new hard recipe for them, it just takes a while. Because you need to have 4 pieces of Elumar for any one of these chips. So, say you want to have, I don't know, 100 chests set up, you need 400 pieces of Elumar, that's 800 pieces of dye. It's just time consuming more than anything else. Now, when you first want to use one of these chips, if you're just holding the chip in your hand, we'll work with this extractor chip, you can right click on it, and it will basically allow you to change the settings on the chips. Every chip has its own settings. Something you're always going to want to do is click on this little node for filtering. Every chip will have it. And usually this thing will default to, on its filter mode, having its items whitelisted. See, kind of whitelisted peeking through there on the chips in any eye. You want to make sure this is set to blacklisted. Just makes this, maybe you don't need to do that anymore. When I learned the system, you absolutely needed to do it. Otherwise, it will only allow whitelisted items to come through the chip. If you set it to blacklisted, that means... Where? Are they on the roof? Are they on the roof? It sounds like they're in the water. You need it to be set to blacklisted, otherwise the chip will only allow whitelisted items to come through it. Just zombies. We're on the hunt for skeletons at the moment for dyes. So yeah, just make sure that you're set to that, the blacklist. Alright, so we're going to make a cut here. I'm going to go ahead and sleep, put more chips on all these things, put on more of these interface pipes on all of these things. All these chests are going to be wired up when you come back. More of these broadcaster chips now. And then we're going to talk about how to upgrade this system, because as you can see with that extractor chip, it's really, really slow. Alright, so we'll be back in a minute. Alright, and we're back to finish this off. It doesn't take too much more from this point. I actually figured out what these responder chips are for. They work in conjunction with the broadcaster chips. I mean, not the broadcaster, the extractor chips. So when you put things in here, into this chest to be extracted, I have the chip holding right here, it'll only go into chests that have one of these responder chips as well. Now, one of the big problems with this that I think you saw earlier is that when you're trying to pull things out of this chest, it's very, very slow. The solution to that are upgrade chips. So what you need to make yourself is one of these router utilities. And when you put one of the right click on this, it opens up this little GUI for you. Put whatever chip you want to upgrade into this middle slot, and you now have the option to put in RX, RY, RZ, LX, LY, and LZ, and you have to go in order. You have to put in X before you can put in Y. Chips into this system, and these are upgrades that will improve the latency, so how long between each extraction will go, and how many items it's able to pull out at once. So it starts off at a time, and then whatever you put in, it'll also add in. So if you starts off at 8 to go, put in the RX, it will now add another 8 onto it, so it'll pull out 16 at once. Put in the RY, it'll put in 8 and 16, so you now have, let's see here, oh god, mathematics, 24 plus 8, 32, so we'll be pulling out 32 at once. And then if you put in the RZ, it'll pull out a stack at once. So let's go ahead and craft these. It's nothing hard. Oop, need that. We're going to make a couple of them. Let's go ahead and take up. I did get all the chips in to all these. It took up most of my resources. I had to spend a good 3 hours just going around the nether, gathering up glowstone. Went off in one direction, so that way we had things still close to home. Can't go south anymore, and unfortunately no fortress. So that's sad. Alright, so we need 1, 2 of these, because we want to make the LY as well. And the LY is made with an LX. Lapis. Gotta get lapis. Luckily we have plenty of lapis. Let's sleep real fast. I don't know why I always decide to start recording at night. Probably because I spent the total of the Minecraft day crafting, gathering, things like that. Luckily this won't be a problem anymore, because after this episode ends, we're going to put all this crap downstairs. So we don't need to go up here after that point. Lapis. I know I have not much, but some. There we go. It's always in the last place you look. That's for next episode. We're just going to ignore that for now. That actually didn't look that bad. Might keep that in here. Alright, so we need one of these. Pull all this out. Now we need an RX. 2 of those. And now we need an RY. And the way that I'm just getting things to pull in right this is normally if you hit this question mark, it'll put an outline for the crafting. If you hold shift when you push that question mark, it'll pull the items out, just that way you can craft it. Makes life very easy. We're not going to bother with these Z's because they require emeralds to be put into them. And you don't really need them that much. And emeralds are going to be very valuable for us. They are still the native currency of this game, even in this mod pack. Oh, there we go. So we start off with the RX. Then we go LX. And then we got to install those first. So see, now the light's green. So when it's green, it's installed. When it's yellow, you can install. When it's red, you cannot install it. Doing this backwards. Which one are you? You're the LY. There we go. Throws me off always because the little gold is the opposite of where you would expect it to be. Install. There we go. So now we have a fantastic little extractor chip. Go ahead and plonk it back in here. So now it's upgraded. And if you watch, bam, that stuff's going to be sorted instantly now. And it's just going to go probably into here. And you're all set. So anyways, that's the way to do one room, one chest, one block storage. Alright. This has been the Onion and Grease with the Shadows Onion channel. I'll catch you later.